Hello boys and girls, we are going to start talking about decimals today. Decimals, we're just going to introduce them now and then we'll talk about them again more when we get to the third advisory. But today and tomorrow's video are just going to be an introduction to decimals. So let's get started. Alright, the first thing to know about decimals are that they are all numbers that are less than one whole. So right here is the decimal point. Everything to the left of it are whole numbers, so this is worth 3 wholes. Everything to the right of it, all of these numbers, these are less than 1 wholes. So this would be like if you had $3, and this would be like if you had some coins that would be less than $1. And all of them end with TH. That's a very important thing to remember. If you see a TH on the end, you know it's going to be decimal. Our first one is our tenths place. That means that it takes 10 of the 10 ones in this digit to make 1 whole. The next one is the hundredths place. That just means that it takes 100 of the hundredths to make 1 whole. And the last one is the thousandths place, which means that it takes 1,000 of those to make 1 whole. That's going to make a little bit more sense when we watch when you do the second part of the decimal video tomorrow. So I'm going to move these up a little bit out of the way. One way that I find it's really easy to remember your decimal place value and which digit is in each place value is when as soon as you see a decimal number, put a 1 right underneath the decimal point and then put a 0 under the first digit, and we see right here now we have a 10 and the 4 is in the tenths place. So if we continue that pattern, if we do our 1, a 0, and a 0, box it out, now we see that the 7 is in the there's a 100 underneath the 7, so the 7 is in the hundredths place. And if we go one last one, we'll put 1, 0, 0, 0, box it out, we see that the 8 is in the thousandths place because there's a 1,000 underneath. The way that we would read this number is we would say the whole number just like normal. So it is 3. When you see the decimal point, you say and. So 3 and you read this number 478, and then you say whatever the last place value is. So thousandths. So you would say 3 and 478 thousandths. So now let's break down this number. So we run into our number, and as soon as I see decimal, I know I'm going to put a 1 underneath the decimal point. I'm going to put a 0, a 0, and a 0. So I see there's a 1,000 underneath. So if I'm looking, I see there's a 6. There's a decimal, so that's and. So 6 and 53 thousandths. So that would be written like this: 6 and 53 thousandths. It doesn't matter that there's this 0 here because you just ignore it. You just pretend that it doesn't exist. You just read the number, kind of like a whole number place value, where we read the number and then we say the family name. The decimal is kind of the family name if you're thinking back to the example with The Incredibles. Now here's the other version of it. You see that now I've given you in written form and word form, and now you're going to need to put it into standard form. So what I like to do here is I like to set up some lines for myself. So if I see it says 7 and, so I see 7 and means decimal point. Then after I have my whole number in, I put the 1, 0, 0, 0, and I put some dashes for myself. That's just going to help me figure it out. So now it says 1 and 57 thousandths. So I see 57. Let's say I put my 57 here. I see the 7 is only in the hundredths place, so that's not correct. So I'm going to need to back that up. So once I've backed that up, I know my 7 has to end up in the thousands place, so I'll put my 7 there. I'll put my 5 here, and I can't leave a place value blank like that, so I'll put in a 0 there. So your task is based on these two. I want you to take this one, put it into written form, in Word form, and I would like you to take this one, and I want you to put that into standard form, or just with the numbers. Write them down, bring them back to school, and I'll see you tomorrow. So pause the video now so you can get your information.